Hi, I'm Thandia, and as the moderator has introduced me, I work for Kodi.io. That's the name we have in Finland, as is our first product, the Instant Buyer. I titled the presentation Freedom to Move, and the point is that we're using technology to allow sellers and buyers and professionals in the residential real estate to be able to move properties much faster and increase the liquidity in the market. One more click. We are based in Helsinki, but we're actually an international company. We have operations in 6 cities in Finland, also in Tallinn, and we are launching 2 major countries in Europe in the next 6 weeks, which we'll announce later. But we are a group of technology experts, including PhDs in artificial intelligence and data science and machine learning engineering, but we also have real estate expertise with over 10 years and hundreds of operations. So we try to bring the tech and the human expertise together to provide the best service. These are some of our backings. So we do have a Norwegian, Austrian, and of course, Icebreaker in Finland as our investors supporting the company, and also providing us an avenue to launch in other countries where they own marketplaces so we can bring our products out there. So how is artificial intelligence right now enabling liquidity in the market? If we think about residential real estate, it is one of the largest, if not the largest asset class. Just in Finland is over 6.5 billion in euros. We can say it quite quickly, but when you think about the transaction value, that's thousands and thousands of transactions every year just in Finland. And we are a 5.5, 5.4 million country. So if we think about technology, and again, I'm just talking residential real estate at this point. The last, let's say, revolution was the online listing portal. So how many of you remember the first time you went on Etuovi or Oikotie to look at properties? It's been a while, right? So if you think about what was the next idea after online listing portals? Silence, right? So there have been 2 new concepts, and I call them new because they're still developing in many markets in many countries. But the online broker has been one of the new concepts. It's 4 or 5 years old. Some companies like Purple Bricks in the UK have made it very profitable. Here in Finland, you might know about Block. That's an online broker that popped up in the last 2 years. But the last point is the one I'm most excited about, the iBuyer. This is instant buyer. They can make cash offers for sellers on the spot. And Opendoor is the #1 in the world, but they're only in the United States, but they're already worth 4 billion. So where else is the artificial intelligence playing a role? Of course, in the matching of sellers and buyers, and matching with professionals being real estate agencies or just other products like mortgages, insurance, etc. The second bullet point is actually probably one of the most important one, which is actually valuation. So if you think about as a private owner of a property, you want to know the value of your property. But then a lot of professionals that you're trusting to give them a valuation to you, they're still using very outdated methods. Most real estate agencies, they look at a few handful of past transactions. They rely on their own expertise as a human to give you a valuation. Even appraisers in countries where there are independent appraisers requirements to get a mortgage, they're still using very old data to come up with the valuation. And then, of course, let's not forget the investors out there and the property developers. If you want to invest your money, you need some artificial intelligence, some data that can be understood by a machine to give you better insight than just a human brain, which of course is an excellent machine by itself, but it's not the best when you're trying to look at a market and analyze all the different moving data parts in the market. So in short, from a technology perspective, there's still a lot to do to make it useful for us. So let's talk about the iBuyer product. So as I mentioned, it's an instant buyer product. Kottit.io, we are the first iBuyer in Finland. And we are actually right now the leading iBuyer in Europe. There are just a few in Spain and Italy. There are some popping up in the UK, but from that perspective, we've been able to get the most transactions and proving that our technology is very accurate and can be used for what we need. So what we decided to do at Kottit was to actually fix a real life problem. So probably everybody in this room, or almost everybody, has tried to buy a property, bought a property, sell a property in your lifetime. So if you think about this, is the most expensive purchase or sell you'll ever do in your life, unless you own a big company. But it is a very emotional and time, resources, consumption for the process. So what happens when you are trying to buy a property or sell a property? It takes time. So let's say that Sunday afternoon, you're sitting on your couch, you grab your phone, you grab your tablet or laptop and start looking around your place and say, well, it would be great if I could buy a 3-bedroom apartment in a part of town that you want to move to. So you go on an online portal, you find your dream property, and you say, great, the price looks good, the open house is tomorrow, let's go check it out, and maybe I want to make an offer. As excited as you are in that moment, there are these negative thoughts coming to you because you're sitting on your couch and you're looking at your house and you're starting to look and say, how much is my property worth? And then you notice, I need to paint that wall, or I need to change that tile in the bathroom. And then you think about, well, do I need to get an agent? How long is it going to take? Do I need to do open houses? Do I need to clean? Do I need to pack? So your mind is going 1,000 miles per hour already thinking, it's going to be such a pain. And in many cases, you stop there. You're like, oh, I'm not ready to sell. So how do you remove these problems from the process? And I didn't mention one, which is a financial issue. You find the property that you want, you dream home, you make an offer, it gets accepted, and suddenly you still need to sell your place. Most of us cannot afford a dual mortgage at the same time. So there is a financial crunch time that nobody wants. So we thought we need a solution for this, and we're using technology to do this. So you're not going to see on my slides a lot of graphs and data, because the technology for the consumer, it's not visible, but they'll feel the effect. The effect is when they come and they ask the Kottit.io, for example, for evaluation, they get a preliminary evaluation of their apartment. And then they can, with one click, they can request an inspection. So in the inspection, which is for free, we go to their property, we looked around, and we go through about 100 data points that get fed into our platform. All those data points play a role in coming up with the right valuation. So within 24 hours, we can have a cash offer for that seller. Most people say, well, what kind of discount do you get? I mean, how low do you bid, etc.? And the answer is, with our technology, we can actually calculate the value of that property as it is today. And we take into consideration lots of data, not just past transactions, but listings and other environmental data that play into it. But what we also do is that at the same time, we are calculating the value of that property if we were to go ahead and remodel. So improve the conditions, get through those repairs that need to be done to make the condition of that property to the next level, being good, decent, excellent. And it shows us what the margin is. So we can actually make cash offers without discounts if there's enough margin on the value that we can create for that property. So there is not always a discount applied to our offer. The other part that we also can offer to a seller is actually a guarantee. So if you think about it, you get an offer and you think, well, it might not be what I wanted, and you want to continue in the market and try to sell. Well, we give you a guarantee. We said, go ahead, keep selling for 8 weeks, but if at any time you want to just come back, then we'll go ahead and buy the property. If you go ahead and sell it to somebody else for more money, we only charge you 1% of the offer, and it's the guarantee, it's that peace of mind that you know how much money you're gonna get. And what happens is they get that peace of mind, they can go and buy or make a cash offer on their next property, and therefore increases their chances of getting their dream home. The closing of the sale, very simple. It could be as quick as 7 days, in and out, the money exchange, or we give the flexibility of moving out. So in most cases where you're still finding your dream home, or if you dream home, you find it and you still have to do repairs, it might be 2 to 3, 4 months. We actually give the option of purchasing the property and giving you the opportunity to rent back. So you avoid all the temporary housing hassle. So you only move once, not twice. This is just I threw in one tech slide just to see some of our tools that we use. But so what we've been doing, we've already valued over $1 billion in properties. So people going through our website doing valuations, they want to know what their property is worth. It says 100, we're over 120 at this point. And when we say exodus, these are apartments that have gone through the cycle. So a purchase, remodeling back into the market, and they're sold. And when we bring a property back into the market, we already remodeled it. It's ready to move in. So it's a much quicker sale than something that needs work. So we embedded our AI throughout the entire coded process. So I mentioned the valuation. So the valuation of today's price, but or today's value, but actually the margin if there's value after remodeling. Sales days predictions, that's an important one. You can price a property at one level, but it could take you 300 days to sell, or what would be the right price to move it in 60 days. We move our process through the cycle in 90. But let me just point to the last bullet here. We can find the different target areas where those margins are, and they move month to month. But also what's important for us is to understand the market. If you think about real estate, we read articles all the time that talk about it's going up, it's going down, but the data tends to be 6 to 9 months old. So by the time a bubble bursts or there's an upswing, most people haven't been able to take advantage of it. So we want to go ahead and have market health indicators. So as you can see from this slide, it's a win-win-win. What we're trying to do is increase the liquidity. So the sellers can sell quickly, the buyers can find better products in the markets, the fully remodel, and all the different players or stakeholders in the process, including the government. So we already have paid thousands and thousands in transfer tax. So everybody benefits as moving more inventory through the process. I'm about 40 seconds left. So I'm going to talk about the future. Still come in the future. So what is going to come next? So we talk about instant buyer. The instant buyer is still very much a preliminary offer at this point. In the future, it will be one click, you get final offers. But what is more important is what is coming is the full transaction, where from your couch, You can get your mortgage, your insurance, and even the purchase of your next apartment, all done at once. So removing the friction and using the technology to do that is what the future is going to be. Thank you very much.